Wrestling fans, promoters, wrestlers, and anyone who enjoys pro wrestling now have something new to be excited about. The Wrestling Fans International Association, the WFIA, is back. WFIA is an association that exists to promote, grow, and support professional wrestling throughout the world. Membership is free. Your membership includes a free digital bi-monthly publication of the Wrestling Fan News newsletter, association updates, voting privileges, and much more. Please go to thewfia.org, that's thewfia.org, and become a member today.
Welcome, everybody, to the PWZ podcast, now part of ProWrestlingWire.com and WON Sports. We've got Ryan Fraust here, the new Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling United States champion, here with me this morning. Ryan, you've been here now several times, and I am very happy. Look at that belt. That's a beautiful belt.
You know, doesn't it? It does look nice.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I just want to thank you, and you've beat somebody that you've had quite a rivalry, with. It's still early; the coffee hasn't kicked in. So, quite a rivalry with over the last year or so, Troy Stevens.
Yeah, I spent over 10 years, knowing this guy. The first place I ever set foot in a pro wrestling ring and started training was Pro Wrestling Academy down in New Haven. With Joseph von Schmidt, who was trained by Jason Knight as the head trainer. It's just so funny that I've known him for so long, and we've crossed paths so many times, and outside of the ring. And Troy took some time off from wrestling. He's back over at PAPW now. Whereas I'm over at Test of Strength now. Our paths diverged, and after all that time, to finally have a match where we did a PAPW, and I challenged for the first time for the U.S. title, and went pretty well. Felt each other out, discovered that we do have some, chemistry. To the point where now it's 3 times in 1 month. We have some pretty hard-hitting and decisive battles. He went from somebody who I had never wrestled to probably one of my better rivals now. It's been a short career. It's been about a 5.5-year career, but one of the chief rivals now in the matter of about a month.
Yeah. So you guys not only met this past, was it this past week? It was last weekend, correct? For the title?
Week and a day now, yeah.
Week and a day, yeah. Which you'll be able to stream that on YouTube. So you go to the Paradise Alley official PAPW YouTube, and you can catch that match. It's the 3rd match on the show, and it was quite exciting. I'm not going to lie. I watched it from my house, and I did pop to see that. I had the opportunity to work with you just about 2 weeks prior to that, the both of you, where you met for Tetsu, for to become the inaugural Tetsu champion, in which you guys had, I believe, that was the only time that Troy had defeated you. Is that correct?
I wish I could say so, but we had only wrestled the one time before that, which had been about a week prior.
Okay, my bad.
I challenged him for the United States Championship at PAPW. He pulled one of those super kicks out of nowhere at the end of a hard fought match, and pulled one out on me there. Kind of like hit the super kick and fell on me, basically. Right. And if he had fallen to one side or the other, I might not have, the pain might not have registered. I might have had time to recover, and I might have been U.S. champion about 3 weeks earlier. Who knows?
Right.
But yeah, he beat me then. So I already had kind of a chip on my shoulder and kind of a point to prove at Tetsu, and it turns out that we had, a pretty well received main event. I got a lot of good feedback from that one, and he pulled it out on me then too. So I knew going into the ladder match that I had to take from, my own past, and I had to bring something out that hadn't been brought out yet, even in that, long, arduous main event that we had at Tetsu. I knew I had to bring even more, and I had to give more, and I had to work harder for the 2 weeks it took to get to that point.
Right.
And, I apparently I did, because I wouldn't have had that chance if it was 2 out of 3 falls, but I did get the chance to find that redemption.
No, it was no, of course it wasn't just a ladder match, correct? Am I in am I
No, it was
informed that it was a TLC match? Yep.
So tables, ladders, and chairs were legal.
Yep.
I had to throw a little nod, a little shout out to the step ladder matches that I have taken part in with the stepdads, and I brought one of those step ladders out as kind of a loophole.
Right.
Step ladder's a legal weapon. It's a ladder.
Yeah.
As evidenced by the fact that I did not bring a Singapore cane. I really, fortunately I didn't need it, but that's something that I would typically have used had it been legal.
Yeah.
Or had I been able to get away with it, I would have used it. But, right in front of the ref, right in front of everybody, I would have got disqualified, and then I wouldn't have become United States champ. But, yeah, it was a TLC match, my first with regular size ladders where the belt's actually up there.
I was watching that. That ladder seemed now that ceiling in the JCC is incredibly high. I've been in that building numerous times. And when I saw that ladder, I said, I kind of had a little bit of fear for you guys and possibly getting hurt. But that's not the first ladder match that was held in that venue as well, because I remember seeing it has to be about maybe pre-pandemic. It was the Haven and the House of Pain for the tag team titles in there.
Oh, they did a ladder match there?
They did a ladder match, yes. And that's when the Haven won. Personally, I would be afraid to climb the ladder that high. Just saying.
I'll tell you this. So the middle ladder, the blue ladder,
yeah,
scientifically, Troy or I could have gotten the belt with that ladder. It was tall enough, but you would have to go all the way to the top, and that's as unsafe as jumping off it and putting somebody through a table. That
yeah,
I'm not going to hold the ladder for him. So, yeah, that orange ladder was gigantic, and being up there, man, when I grabbed the belt, I was feeling, beat up, but I was feeling a certain way, and I wanted to climb up to the top, and and I said, I'm good right here.
So let me ask you about your relationship with Paradise Alley, because you didn't work there a lot until recently. I mean, I remember last year you worked, was it last year? Just Incredible at the Wild Wild Wrestling event, correct?
So, here's for some good radio. My first match for Paradise Alley was in my first year. It was one of my very first handful of matches. Mm-hmm. It was not very entertaining. It was not. I didn't represent myself as well as I'd like, and I would think that everyone in the match would agree that there wasn't a lot of chemistry. It was difficult, and I genuinely believe that, be it Mario, be it Roma, I believe somebody was like, this guy's a bum. We don't need this guy at all. And it was years went by. And they went to Cadillac Ranch and they wanted to do hardcore, and they had Just Incredible involved and HC Loke from originally ECW and Ring of Honor.
I'm sorry, I made an error. You wrestled Bull Dread on that night. Am I correct?
I did.
That's right. Okay, I made an error. Just Incredible and HC
right.
Loke.
But
once you mentioned HC Loke, the memory came back. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Loke and Incredible fought,
right.
And then I came in and said, all these ECW guys, I love beating them up. And then Dread came in and saved them.
Yeah.
But it was it was really cool to wrestle in that building because I love those environments. Like I used to sing for bands. I like kind of a bar atmosphere where it's a little rowdier. I did 2 or 3 of those Cadillac Ranch events, and I think I had an opportunity to show them that I've grown as a competitor and
you matured.
And by the time my understanding actually is that Troy was accepting open challenges, and I was like, hey man, I'll fight you. We've never had a match, but we've known each other and been friendly. So I believe that's how I ended up with that match, was answering the open challenge. And, these guys who, might have thought I was a bum, gave me an opportunity to come in and show them that even if that was the case ever, it no longer is.
Right. Good. That's good. And I enjoyed seeing you there because the first time I saw you there with the Wild Wild Wrestling, and from my understanding, I don't know if I'm allowed to repeat this, but they're going to be returning there in the springtime. So
okay, cool. I hope so.
So yeah.
From now on,
the environment is a fantastic environment.
One more match at PAPW.
Yeah, at least one.
I lose that belt.
Yeah,
they're gonna, whether they want to or not, I got to come defend it. So hopefully by springtime, I'll still be carrying this and have a chance to defend it. There's a lot of talent at PAPW that I have never crossed paths with, that I have never, encountered. There's people I have worked with because, we're all around. That kid Marbury he's
a fantastic, and he's only been in the business probably less than a year. I mean, as far as a competitor goes, because I remember when he was training, he, going to the matches, he would be the guy sitting ringside collecting all the jackets and gimmicks from the guys, as they came in. And, getting to know him over that time. And he's also one of the most humble and polite kids you'll ever meet, and very respectful, and getting to watch him as a competitor, it's a whole nother level, man. He is over like Rover, literally.
So over. And he's super athletic.
Absolutely.
I had him on my team. Oops, sorry. Hang on 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Are we there? Okay. I had him on my team at Test of Strength. Most Novembers I end up in a traditional elimination tag team match at a training day, and I was the captain this year, and I had Marbury on my team, and watching firsthand, because I had seen him in passing, we had shared locker rooms, I heard his ovation at Tetsu, but obviously I was busy getting ready for my match.
Right.
To see firsthand, he has this move that's like a posterizing slam dunk where he just leaps over a person a pro wrestler who's standing at full height, grabs their head and slams it on the ground. Like, very impressive. Also this kid, the surfer,
Sean Silver. Yeah.
He's, a very promising young talent. And I'm not just picking on the new guys who I know I can rough up. I'm just saying that PAPW does have some good talent waiting in the wings.
They also have a good track record.
Special to me to have a championship there and to be returning there and to be working with their younger, newer talent is that as at the time of his passing, Jim was training there as well. Right. My old partner, Big Jim, who unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago. The fact that he was there trying to help the younger guys who were coming up and coming in. The fact that even if I'm not training there every day as, a student there, because I am still, with Test of Strength, even if I'm not there every Monday and Wednesday and whatever days they train, to give their kids opportunities at the championship and work with them is something that I can do kind of in Jim's place, unfortunately, in his gaping absence.
Correct. Yes. And like you said, Jim was a very big part of Paradise Alley. That's how I got to know Jim, was through Paradise Alley. And, his passing was a rough one. And he was, I think he was a great guy. I liked him a lot. So.
It's hard to find somebody who has a differing opinion. And most of the ones who have a differing opinion don't know all of the correct information and base it off of a hearsay. If you ever spent any time with this individual, you know that he was the only thing bigger, than his his width and height and bulk was his heart. You know, that's
Absolutely.
cheesy, but it's true.
Absolutely. So is there no Paradise Alley shows lined up for currently that you're aware
The
of?
next day I have agreed to is January 20th.
Okay. Well,
if they're doing anything and not featuring the United States title, I'm not aware of it. But
okay.
my understanding is that's the next date. I do not know who will be challenging for the United States Championship. I would assume that Troy gets a rematch, and I told him he said immediately on Instagram or Facebook, he said rematch clause, and I said you don't need a clause, bro. Like, and you beat me 2 times before I could ever beat you, and I still haven't pinned him. I have not made him submit, but I'm also not gonna, dangle a carrot. I'm not afraid of a fight.
Right.
He can come to training day and challenge me. He can find any promotion that wants to put the match on, and he can have a match. He can challenge for this championship 10 times. I'm not afraid of fighting anybody. You give me Wrecking Ball, you give me Ichiban, you give me Just Incredible. I'll, line them up. I'm eager to defend it.
I would assume that you guys would be meeting again as in Tetsu, and you would be getting another shot at that title, seeing that he beat you in the tournament final for the Tetsu title. Is that correct? Would you be next in line? I guess.
Believe that anybody ever intended on me being in that final. I honestly, the way it played out, like things kept happening, like my opponent wouldn't show up.
I believe somebody got
a match with Red.
Yeah, somebody got injured, I believe, correct? And then somebody wasn't able to make it. So then because it was supposed to be the semifinals, and then you guys were supposed to, and then whoever when the semis would be in there, and then,
I was slated to wrestle Troy. So
yeah,
if
and then I think the day of, it was announced that you guys were just automatically, they were making that match the finals, and because of the mishaps, which is understandable, and it ended up, and I'm gonna say, I sent in on commentary. I invited a friend to the show. I bought his ticket, and he sat in the show, and it was his first Tetsu show, and he has to say that he absolutely loved that match, and he said that was his first Tetsu show, and he absolutely loved the event. He saw it as one of his favorite events he had been to in recent history. So
awesome.
That's a testament right there as far as like what goes on. There's a guy that hasn't necessarily been involved or watched wrestling for quite some time, and then all of a sudden started going to indie shows in the last year or something like that. So
yeah, well, Tetsu, I'm real proud of it. I've been there from the very, very, very beginning up to that championship coronation main event. I was the only wrestler who had been at every single Tetsu show and remained undefeated. I was starting to say, like, I don't think anybody foresaw or planned for me to be in the main event for that championship. So the fact that I ended up having that opportunity to show that I belonged there, and that I could hang, and that I could carry the main event, like, that's, I don't want to say bigger than Tetsu, but that's just big for me, on top of the fact that it's big for Tetsu. Yeah. I don't know if I'm automatically going to get another shot at that championship, or if I got to earn it, but I will. I don't have a bad taste in my mouth because I gave everything I had, and I believe, tore the house down. But it's going to be what it's going to be, I have not been told what I'm doing at the next Tetsu show, which is January 6th. It is the day after my birthday. Championship rematch would be a nice present, but
it would be. That's actually January 6th is my not my youngest son's, but my youngest son from my first marriage, his birthday. So I have it right up here in front of me. Full Metal New Year, January 6th. It's going to be at the Bristol Boys and Girls Club. It's a wonderful venue. I think I love it. And my stepson played basketball there for a number of years, and for AAU ball, and we'd always have to travel up there. And I always liked that building. I said, hey man, there should be wrestling here. And guess what? Now there's wrestling there, and it's wonderful. It's a great venue. It really is.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So what else do you have coming up? Are you going to, Not going to be a test of strength. It's test of strength today. They have a training day.
No.
It's
December 3rd is the next test of strength.
December. Oh, got you.
We've been pushing for Frosty the Snowman versus Dante Claus for years, especially last year when I was actually embroiled in a rivalry against the Mission. And it's looked like we finally got it to pass through this year, but they've added Patrick Saint to the match. I don't know how much TOS you've watched or anybody who's watching this.
I usually watch online, and I don't go to as many live shows, but I do watch them online. I need to, with my work schedule, it's impossible for me to get out sometimes, but so I do watch everything online at least. So yeah, I do support. I mean, I do. I honestly, I'm going to be honest. The test of strength shows they have attended live, I absolutely enjoyed and thought that they were fantastic. And then it's over. But it's I wish I can get out to more. So and that's I think that's going to be a thing starting soon.
I hope so. But we I think largely people say that in person they're a different experience. But
yeah.
So we I had a big long feud with the Mission, and I won. I pinned Dan in a big match with Dredd as a partner, and it was rah rah rah. And I thought I was done with him. And then my partner, TJ Howell, the third in our tag team, Cold Cash, kind of committed me to helping Patrick Saint against the Mission. And I'm like, man, I'm already done with these guys, but okay. Yeah. Patrick Saint was in the Mission. I was fighting him the whole time.
Yep.
So now me fighting Dan the Man and Patrick Saint isn't even going to be different. Like, I'm accustomed to fighting both of them. But now Pat's also against Dan, so it's going to be a strange dynamic. But I like Patrick Saint.
He's on a tear.
He's within wrestling, outside of wrestling. I like the guy. It sucked to have to fight him for a year when I was feuding with the Mission because he's a big bad motherfucker.
As I was saying, he's on a tear as of late. That dude is. He is. I mean, unspeakably good, and I'm lucky that I'm going to be working with him on December 2nd for Coliseum Pro Wrestling. He's
good.
He's challenging Hunter Tarka for the Coliseum
Hunter
champion.
Better shine the belt up. Careful, because Patrick Saint's coming. He was always going to. Always going to. He is that guy.
Yeah.
And he's still new, so he's still learning.
Right.
He Dan the Man was in his ear. He was doing a lot of the shit that he shouldn't have early on, and he broke free of that, and he's finding his footing. But he could beat anybody any day, like without a doubt. You're that big, you're that strong. He's got mixed martial arts training. He has a great attitude, as a guy, as a person.
Right.
But as a competitor, he has a rotten attitude. He will eat your lunch.
He likes to throw people around like it's and I use this term a lot, like it's a sack of potatoes. Like
I'm sitting here smiling. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's fun to fight him. I just always spend the next couple of days knowing I was in a fight.
Right.
And this one's going to be different because he's not going to be trying to break my leg or break my arm or, I assume, because now we're technically on the same side against Dan. But anyway, it's a triple threat at the next training day, December 3rd, Sunday, 1 p.m. You can stream it live. You don't have to be there. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to have some lumps because Dan the Man hits pretty hard too. And we can't forget. He is the chief villain in so many universes. Like he's a bad man.
He's another one that's just an incredible competitor, and he's been around for a long time here in our area.
Thousands of years, if you ask him. But
all right, Ryan, I'm going to let you go. I want to say thank you very much for joining me this morning. And is there anything else you want to throw in there?
I want to thank you for talking to me. It's humbling and I want to say flattering, but I don't mean like you're talking about my blouse. I mean, like, I went from, kind of struggling and kind of not knowing where I was, what I was doing, with any promotions, to one of the promotions that I thought had pretty much blackballed me, giving me opportunities for a championship and taking it home. I'm just very grateful. I consider myself very blessed. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. Appreciate the opportunity PAPW gave me. Appreciate the continued opportunities Test of Strength gives me. Really excited for what's coming up. I know the whole new year, new me BS. Like, I'm the same guy, but I'm trying harder, and I think 2024 is going to be a big one. And you as well. Sure. I see you doing all kinds of new things and branching out and getting different opportunities, whether it be commentary or websites and whatnot. So congratulations, Rick.
I want to thank you very much. 2023 has been an incredible year for me as far as professional wrestling goes, with reaching out and becoming part of many different organizations and websites and television program right here. And so in 2024, I feel is going to be a better year, an even better year. So before we go, why don't you shine up or show the belt off? Yeah, one more time. That's a beautiful belt, I tell you. PAPW
it really does look nice.
Yeah, they put in a lot of they put a lot of care into their belts. So
they got the Liberty Bell and Statue of Liberty there. I'll tell you this is definitely the nicest championship I've held that was not designed by heel shit.
I was going to say,
out of this world.
Yeah, but, Alex does an amazing job with belt designs, and I mean, a lot of his stuff, merchandise, everything, his clothing is just he's got an amazing what do you say? Just an amazing eye. Talent. You know what I mean? Yeah, amazing talent. Yeah, exactly. So that's why you should go purchase some heel shit apparel. You can buy it. I think it's heel shit.
Keep an eye open for this Christmas's Ryan Frost Christmas shirt. I have a couple now, but Frosty the Snowman. It's so great. I think you have a graphic and you can pop it up, but it's me as a snowman with a Singapore cane. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think he teased it online on the website, or Facebook or something like that. Yeah, I'm going to show that off, and I want to say thank you once again, and of course, you're always welcome back. Just give me a buzz if you ever got something to say.
Hey, thank you so much, Rick. Have a great day.